That's a good coffee. How are we doing, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I am going to be reviewing that little coffee machine over there. Now, since coming out here to the UAE, I have decided to buy a few things that I've always wanted, and a bean-to-cup coffee machine has been one of them. I looked at a few baristas, I looked at a few other things, and the machine that I have got sat right next to me on my kitchen counter is the Delonghi Magnifica S. It is a coffee machine that is, one, affordable and also produces banging coffees. So, without further ado, let's get in and review the Delonghi Magnifica S bean-to-cup coffee machine. Oh yeah. So here we have it, guys. This is the Delonghi Magnifica S. It's a really smart, compact coffee machine that grinds from bean to cup, and it is all in all a really nice, neat, smart little coffee machine for those of you that want to take your coffee game up a level without spending loads of money and without necessarily knowing how to create a good coffee from scratch. There are a whole range of different modes that you can use. There are different elements to this coffee machine, and I'm going to break those down for you now. So if we have a little look at the machine up closer, especially in terms of the size of it, it is a very nice compact machine. Comparing it to a 2-slice toaster that I've got here and a single kettle, this thing really does fit nicely into a kitchen space, even if you don't have that much worktop space available. It is a really nice black colouring, and I believe that you can get other colour machines as well. And the elements of the machine that aren't black are a really nice silver or grey, and it generally has a nice finish. Now, it is a budget or a slightly cheaper model, so it is plastic. It's not going to be it's not got the same build quality as one of the more expensive bean-to-cup or indeed coffee machines. However, for the price and the functionality, I really rate this thing. Right, let's have a little look at a bit more of the detail, and I'm going to talk about how you can actually make a coffee. Okay, everybody, so looking at the machine from the front. First of all, we have the drip tray. This does pull out, and in here we have a small compartment for the ground coffee. Your drip tray lifts up like so, and you have the tray available. And what is also really cool is the little red clip that you can see in there. Once the water has reached a certain level, the red clip comes out through the little hole, and you know that it's time to empty the drip tray. This slides in and out of the machine really smoothly, and it is nice and compact and out of the way. On the side of your machine is where your water tank is. This is a nice water tank. It is large, and you can fill it up by removing the lid. Now, there are two options that you can have. There is an adaptation if you want to add a filter. This is useful if you're going to be using tap water, or if, like me, you have got filtered water, you can just pour filtered water in, and you can avoid using the filter that comes with it. Again, as with the drip tray, this is really smooth, and you can pull it in and out really easily. As we move to the top of the machine, you have a space for your cups or your glasses if you so wish. This is just a metal sheet, it's nothing crazy about it. And then at the back here is where you keep your beans. Now, as you can see, you can keep your beans in the reservoir at the top, and you also have an option as to the grind of the beans. So you can see you've got a larger grind or you've got a thinner grind, and you can adjust this accordingly. And also here, if you don't have whole beans, you have a sort of an entry point here that you can add pre-ground coffee. So that's a nice addition. This machine also comes with a scoop as well, so that you know exactly how much to measure, and it advises within the manual to put 1 scoop of pre-ground coffee into the machine. And on the front, there is a setting for the pre-ground coffee also. Alright, so if we have a little bit of a closer look at the control panel, this is a more of a basic model. You know, it is reflected in the price, so you don't have a fancy touchscreen or anything like that. And, you know, if you want to make cappuccinos or lattes or fancier drinks, you have to very much do it manually rather than just pressing a button and flat white coming out. So if we have a little look at the front and the console, we have a selection of buttons down the side and the central rotational dial in the middle. The power button is here. You press that. We have a small LED that lights up and flashes, and it indicates when the machine is at temperature and when it is ready. Before and after you use the machine, when you power it on, and indeed when you power it off, the machine purges itself. Now, it only purges itself through where the coffee comes out. It purges itself for about 5 seconds to clear the pipes, and then again when you turn it off, it will clear the pipes as well, which is a really nice feature. You have multiple coffee settings. So you've got the on button, as I said. You've got single and double shot espresso. Now, with the single and double shot espresso, unfortunately, while it does say there is a double, it uses the same quantity of coffee. So you won't get a double strength coffee, you'll just get a double quantity of coffee, if that makes sense. So if you're looking for a double shot of espresso, you would be best to hit the single shot twice. It will take a little bit longer, but you will then get the desired taste and strength of coffee. On the other side, you have got the steam button here. The steam button is obviously if you're wanting to steam milk for things like your cappuccinos. You've then got a single long coffee and a double long coffee. Again, with the double long coffee, it uses the same grind of coffee, but you're using it for a larger cup. What this means is that this is going to be somewhat weaker than if you were to use 2 of the single cups. You then have a small little button under here. This is an indicator of when you need to empty your reservoirs, when you need to fill up your water, and this is also an indicator of when your machine needs to be descaled. And you can get descaling pods, but the machine tells you when you need to do that. I've had this machine for a couple of months now, and I've had to descale it once. The process is really simple. Does take a little bit of time, but the manual that comes with the machine talks you through the process, and it is very simple. So you may have also noticed that there is a little sort of tab button, knob twister thing on the side here. This is for hot water and also for steam. So obviously if you're steaming milk, then you would use this. Now, if you don't press the steam button and you just turn it, hot water will come out of the funnel here. If you do press the steam button and you turn it after, so it flashes to let you know when the steam is ready, but then you will get steam coming out of the steamer. Now with the steamer, whilst we're talking about it, the steamer is really easy to use. It has a nozzle that can be removed, so you can either use just with the nozzle or you can place the cap on the top as well, and you can steam your milk. Now with the milk steamer, it is not like other machines where you can just pop your cup under, press go, and it will steam away. You will need to lift your mug up or your cup up to the steamer because of the height. Now obviously it does depend on how much milk you're steaming, but for 1 cup you will need a little amount of milk, so you probably won't be using a large enough jug, and so you do need to manually hold it whilst your milk is steaming. It's not the end of the world, but there are obviously more expensive machines that you just need to very much put it under, and this is adjustable. So that is something to bear in mind. Okay guys, so I think the next best thing to do is to actually make a coffee and show you how this thing works, for me to give you a bit of a review on how loud the machine is and the quality of the coffee that it produces. Let's make a coffee. I will at this point make a disclaimer that the method of coffee making you're about to see is not that is probably advised by a barista, but it is a method that I have used that I find effective. So if you are a barista, I'm sorry.
Yeah. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157 158
there you have it, guys. One cappuccino. This coffee is very good. Now, when I said I do apologise to all the baristas out there, it's because obviously I foamed the milk and then put the shot straight into the steamed milk. I have just found that for me it's an easier way of doing it. It does mean that I have to mix the coffee and the milk together because it separates, as you will have seen, but I don't know, what can you do? I find it a really easy way of doing it, and I'm not too bothered about funky art on top of it. But there you go, one really nice full coffee, and it tastes amazing. Now, am I going to claim that this is as good as the stuff that I could get from a cafe? No, partly because I am not trained. I don't really know how to produce a really good coffee, but it is it's a tasty coffee. It's a nice coffee. It's smooth, and it is a darn sight better than the instant. And if you were to create coffee using a cafetiere or a French press or something similar to that, I personally love this machine. I drink coffee from it daily, which probably isn't the best thing, but I do love it. It's something I use, and it has really become a staple for me out here in the UAE. It's something I love, and for the price, it is very affordable. Now, I have used coffee pod machines in the past, and I would say noise-wise, they are fairly similar. Obviously, it has to make noise from grinding the beans, and obviously for the water to come out, the coffee to come out, for the steamer. There is a noise, but I wouldn't say it is irritating. I wouldn't say it's particularly loud. Yeah, I think it does a job, and if you are looking for a machine that will produce a very high or a very good quality coffee, you don't want to be spending tons of money on it, then this is an excellent machine, and yeah, I highly recommend it. Now, while I have just made myself a cappuccino, you are able to make Americanos, as I said, and I tend to go for an Americano most mornings rather than a cappuccino. It is currently midday here, so a cappuccino is something that I've decided to drink now, and I'll have some lunch and I'll enjoy this coffee with my lunch. But in the morning, and the same was, I had a coffee this morning, this does a very, very good black Americano coffee as well. Like I say, you can adjust the beans, so you can adjust how finely the beans are ground, you can adjust all sorts of different things on the machine, including apparently the size of the shot that it produces. So yeah, it does a lot of different functions, and the coffee is very good. Okay guys, I am going to enjoy my coffee. There we go. That is one review of the Delonghi Magnifica S complete. If you enjoyed this video or you found it at all useful, I know whenever I'm buying products, and I did with this machine, I always tend to come onto YouTube to look for a review. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. If you want to know anything in particular about the machine or anything thereabouts, feel free to comment down below. And if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I don't always do review videos. I tend to do all kinds of videos really, but at the moment it's been a lot on teaching and living out here in the UAE. So if you are interested in any of those, check out some of my other videos, and like I say, hit the subscribe button. See you guys next time. Cheers.